Hello everyone, today we'll explain Muichiro's backstory, about his life as the Mist Hashira and his death by the Upper Demon Moon 1. Before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video so we can make more videos like this in the future. Without any more delays, let's start the video. Early childhood. Muichiro had one older brother who was named Yuichiro. Both were born in a family of woodcutters. Their parents died at a very young age. One spring, the 97th leader of the Demon Slayer Corps, Kagaya Ubuyashiki's wife, Amane, arrives to recruit the orphans to the Demon Slayer Corps. But Muichiro's excitement was overthrown by Yuichiro's unsympathetic behavior. While the master's wife continued to visit, Yuichiro opposed each time and managed to outrun her. In the coming summer, when the twin orphans were only 11, a demon arrived at their cabin at night and took hold of both. As a consequence, Yuichiro lost his left arm while saving his kind-natured brother, Muichiro. The demon then badgered them for their worthlessness, which ultimately outraged Muichiro, and he defeated the demon with everything at his disposal. By sunrise, the demon had turned into ash, and Muichiro pulled himself back home, where he saw his twin brother approaching death. This was the moment when he decided to join the Demon Slayer Corps. He's with his brother for the last time when he decides to serve humanity. Due to his extensive training and remarkable strength, and also with such pure intentions, he reached the rank of Hashira, the highest ranking combatants in the Demon Slayer Corps, in the time span of only 2 months. Swordsmith Village Arc. We see the first appearance of Muichiro in Swordsmith Village, where he's seen arguing with Kotetsu. He's trying to persuade him to provide him with the key of Yoriichi Type 0. This argument results in Tanjiro's intervention, but Muichiro took him down easily by punching him in the stomach. Tanjiro gets angry, but Muichiro asks him to not waste the time of a Hashira. Soon after, Muichiro inquires about Kozu Kanamori, his new swordsmith, by waking up Tanjiro. Tanjiro offers to go with Muichiro to find out, stating helping others could positively affect himself. Leaving Muichiro with a sense of familiarity, the conversation is suddenly interrupted with the arrival of Upper Rank 4, Hantengu. Muichiro immediately attacks Hantengu using mist-breathing 4th form, Shifting Flow Slash. Hantengu dodges his first move, but Muichiro attacks again and slices his head off. However, Tanjiro suddenly remembers the situation of Daki and Gyutaro, where they split in half, and asks Muichiro to not lose the ground yet, as the demon is divided into 2 bodies, named Sekido and Karaku. The demon then blasts Muichiro out of the building and into the forest, where he sees Kotetsu being attacked by another demon on his way back to the village. Kotetsu is saved by Muichiro and leads Muichiro to Kozo for the new blade. Muichiro attacks him with his mist-breathing form, but the demon moves to different pots and avoids his slashes. Muichiro gets trapped in a blood demon art and feels himself stuck there as he sees his father in Tanjiro's body. Suddenly, he recalls that it was his father's line which Tanjiro said earlier. As soon as Muichiro escapes from the trap, the anger over his brother's death manifests into his Demon Slayer mark, increasing his speed drastically. As the battle gets furious, Muichiro loses his blade, which is instantly replaced with a new one from Kozo. The demon uses another blood demon art, which is reverted by Muichiro's mist attacks. Ultimately, Muichiro decapitates the demon with mist-breathing 7th form, Obscuring Clouds. When Tanjiro is running after Hantengu, Muichiro throws Hotaru Haganazuka's unfinished Nichiren sword, giving Tanjiro the ability to defeat him. After the battle ends, Tanjiro and Muichiro thank each other, Muichiro for the sword and Tanjiro for helping him recover his memories. Hashira Training Arc. After the number of battles at Swordsmith Village, it's told by Goto that Muichiro and Mitsuri slept for almost 2 days to regain their strength. Amane Ubuyashiki appears at an emergency pillar meeting at Ubuyashiki Estate. When Amane asks both Tokito and Kanroji about the marks that they gained after the battle with the 2 upper moons, both Hashira act surprised and like they don't know anything. Both Hashira explain their experience in the battlefield, where Muichiro explained how he recalled his memories. At the time, he also lost control over his emotions and got insanely hot, up to a level of 39 degrees Celsius and a heartbeat of 200 BPM. When Amane asks Muichiro about the body temperature and heartbeat, Muichiro acknowledges that when Shinobu was treating him, he apparently had a fever of 39 degrees Celsius, and guessed that it would have been the same time when the mark appeared. Amane discusses the topic with the rest of the Hashiras after the meeting is dismissed. The death of Tokito Muichiro. This battle takes place in the Infinity Castle between Demon Slayer Genya Shinazugawa and three Hashiras, Muichiro Tokito, Sanemi Shinazugawa, and Gyome Himejima. Tokito Muichiro is separated by Upper Rank 4's Blood Demon Art, in which she manipulates the long infinite castle and warps an opening from Muichiro to where an Upper Rank Demon 4 is residing. When Muichiro arrives there, Kokushibo, the Upper Rank 1, gazes at him and senses that the muscles and blood flow of Muichiro are identical to how Tanjiro saw that of Akaza and Gyu, and determines that Muichiro is of similar blood to him. The fact that the demon owns the sword similar to Nichiren swords made Muichiro realize that this demon was once a demon slayer. As Muichiro sees the upper rank, he grabs the hilt of his sheathed sword, and suddenly his body starts to tremble because of the horrifying aura he's never felt before. Kokushibo asks Hashira his name, to which he replies out loud. This leads to a part where the upper rank states that he's a descendant of one of his children, thus making him his literal offspring. Muichiro's shivering gets more prominent as he realizes that his blood is from that of the monster in front of him. Muichiro then tries to calm himself down using the breathing technique, and here the battle begins. Muichiro tries the first attack and goes for the upper rank's neck using his mist-breathing second form, 8-layered mist. Kokushibo dodges this technique elegantly, admiring the capabilities of such a young Hashira. This leads to the second move, where Hashira unleashes his mist-breathing fifth form, Sea of Clouds and Haze, on the upper rank, who also dodges this one with no difficulty. Despite the newly discovered blood relation, Muichiro didn't want to miss this chance, as he reveals his mist-breathing seventh form, Obscuring Clouds, on the upper rank. Unfortunately, the upper rank again evades this attack with no trouble. This is the point where the upper rank finally decides to unsheath his sword and use his moon-breathing first form, Dark Moon Evening Palace, on the Mist Hashira. Never having witnessed such speed before, Muichiro feels his left arm cut off. But it's not over yet, as Muichiro uses mist-breathing fourth form, Shifting Flow Slash, to attempt to behead Kokushibo again, to which the upper rank grabs the blade of the Hashira and reverses the attack to stab him. Then, the very next moment, we see the Demon Slayer Genya standing beside the upper rank. When he's about to pull the trigger, the upper rank neatly chops off his arms. Intentionally, the upper rank cuts Genya's torso in half. Kokushibo gets shocked that Genya is not dead yet, and thinks to himself that Demon Slayers have to have some vulnerable point. The very next instant, Sanemi rescues them with wind-breathing fourth form, Rising Dust Storm. The upper rank senses the attack and admits that there's one Wind Hashira now in presence. Muichiro finally unpins himself from the column that Kokushibo stabbed him to and pulls out his Nichiren sword from his shoulder. He shames his body for not being as strong as Tengen Uzui's. He knows deep down that he has fewer hours to live, and says to himself that if he dies, it'll eventually lessen the burden of him on the other Hashiras. Muichiro joins Genya and vows to fight until the last breath. With the price by Gyome paid, the upper rank notices that he had awakened his Demon Slayer. Kokushibo went on with his continuous bombardments, and the two Hashiras used their techniques to minimize the effects. Just then, Muichiro appears, where his wounds are patched up by Genya. The three Hashiras now return to the battlefield with new hope. Eventually, during the fight, the Stone Hashira realizes that he's entered the transparent world, allowing him to finally predict his moves. With this new development, the three Hashira, Muichiro, Sanemi, and Gyome, collectively battle against the upper rank to take advantage of this moment and decapitate him. Remembering the loss of his brother, Kokushibo screams at the top of his lungs, and as he screams, he releases dozens of chaotic slashes, cutting Muichiro's lower body, guaranteeing his death, along with cutting Genya in half vertically. However, with their bodies being half cut, they still wanted to fight on the battlefield to defeat the upper rank. Muichiro tells himself to unleash an attack, or to do something that'll help the two Hashira, so he grips his Nichiren sword with all of his force left. The entire blade burns bright red, burning the flesh where he had stabbed Kokushibo. Kokushibo points out that the places where his body was stabbed had become stiff. With Muichiro turning his blade bright red, it heavily reminds him of his younger brother's Nichiren sword, along with his belief that their generation is not extraordinary in the slightest. To dodge multiple incoming attacks, Kokushibo slices off the remaining arm of Muichiro and the last of his limbs, and his lifeless body falls to the ground. However, Muichiro's death was not in vain, because the place where he had stabbed the upper rank with the bright red blade became ash and spread all over his body, leading to the loss of so much blood that the demon couldn't regenerate his body fast enough. This leads the remaining Hashira to finally pull out a last attack, which left the body of the upper rank almost defeated. With Guillaume shedding tears, he closes the eyes of Muichiro, vowing that he'd continue his mission to defeat Muzan, while Genya speaks of his last words to his brother that he was the nicest person in the whole world. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.